What's up, guys? So look, here's the deal. As you can see, we're not talking about Secret Invasion like I said we would this week. That was going to be the video, but what had happened was my Adventures with Superman dropped their first 2 episodes this past Friday. With that actually escaping my mind, I forgot the show was coming out this soon. The show, after having watched it, am able to confirm, well, it's more better than a bitch compared to Secret Invasion. Well, that turned me into a liar this week, and so we will not talk about Secret Invasion until next week. I know, very disappointing, very sad news, players. I know you guys are all devastated. Anyways, My Adventures with Superman dropped its first 2 episodes, which was basically one big episode split into 2 23-minute parts, Adventures of a Normal Man, and it was a pretty damn good start. This series is going to be 10 episodes long. Did I say series? I meant season, since it's just been picked up for a 2nd season, and that should tell you all you need to know about this show, players.
God! No! God, please, no! No! No!
Or at least most of it. Again, nothing is perfect, and although I didn't really hate anything about this show, I will talk very briefly about my little nitpicks, but let's start with the whole plot and story in episode 1. It's basically Clark and Jimmy Olsen starting their first days as interns at the Daily Planet, and this leads them to meeting fellow intern Lois Lane, who is hot on the case of stolen military robots being stored in Metropolis and wants nothing more than to crack this case, but Perry White isn't having it and tells her that she needs to teach Clark and Jimmy how to be coffee bitches for the Daily Planet and nothing more. She ends up convincing Clark and Jimmy that, Perry is cool with them investigating things further. They meet up with Flip Johnson and the News Kid Legion. Apparently, this is an established character and a group in the comics from like the 50s to the 80s. Definitely need to read more Superman and Jimmy Olsen books. Clark soon finds out that Lois lied to get him and Jimmy to help. He dips out while both Lois and Jimmy pursue this missing robots case further, and they found them. They fucked around and they found them, but then that's when Clark comes back and he basically saves the day unbeknownst to them. This leads to Lois's fascination with finding out who Superman is, and also starts Clark doing the same, which in episode 2 or part 2 of Adventures of a Normal Man, it begins with Pa and Martha Kent showing young Clark the vessel he came to Earth in and him being scared of finding out what is in it, how he is different from everybody else, leading him to almost reject his true Kryptonian heritage all of his life, to ponder what exactly he was, up until this episode where he goes back to Kansas, back to the ship with the help of Martha Kent, and meets the ghost of Jor-El, and it shows him the destruction of Krypton and him being sent to Earth. And this is when we get our first suit up. Meanwhile, Lois and Jimmy are tracking down the woman who was responsible for the robots being stolen, as she meets up with not just your regular white hair anime villain, but Slade Wilson or Deathstroke. A fight breaks out between them, and it's revealed that she is Livewire, and it's causing destruction to the city until Superman comes. We get the full suit reveal, which I actually really love that Martha Kent is the reason why he has the shorts. Very nice little touch. I think it's good that they're paying homage to the shorts, but I like that they're doing both. Like, it looks like they will eventually go belt only. We hear the Superman voice, and Jack Quaid did an amazing job with it, and he removes the device giving Livewire her powers, or at least amplifying them, and cleans up the mess made from the fight. Okay, you gotta love Superman. Okay, that's wholesome as apple pie right there. The episode ends with a little tease of the romance between Lois and Clark, but their story ends up getting put in the paper but credited to some other mofos, just some sly slick shit by the Daily Planet, then ultimately with Livewire being interrogated by what looks like Slade Wilson, Amanda Waller, and maybe Rick Flag. So as far as the little nitpicks go, I was talking about earlier, Slade looks like some fan art. If I'm being real, he looks like some Avengers Academy type of version of Deathstroke, but I imagine he'll look more badass with the armor and as the show progresses. Plus, he's being voiced by the GOAT, Chris Parnell, so he has the benefit of the doubt from me. Also, just curious why Task Force X or Slade is involved in a Superman show, although I do have an idea. For whatever reason, Pa Kent sounded like Master Roshi to me. Did anybody else hear that? And I just wish he was a bit more involved, but again, we have 8 more episodes to go and a whole other season, so we probably will see a lot more more of him. He'll be more involved. Also, this is negligible, but I don't know how I'm feeling about everything like electrical, like from the way Clark's powers seem to manifest in moments of desperation or when he needs to act fast. Don't get me wrong, it looked cool, but it felt more the Flash than Superman, if that makes any sense to me. And then also just the old Superman the Animated Livewire episode used to piss me off. Like, how is it even possible that electricity can hurt Superman? I get it if it was like magical electricity or lightning, but science-based electricity seems like it just bounced off of him. But even though I loved that series, it was a bit wacky. It was a bit kooky. If anybody knows a couple books where Superman is vulnerable to regular electricity that's not magical, please recommend. Now to get into all the things I loved about this show. First off, great animation. Really reminded me of Invincible here in terms of the animation. Did not feel lazy or phoned in. It looks like they put in actual effort into making things look dynamic and cool, as well as the voice cast. Okay, Jack Quaid really impressed me because although I was excited to see him in this role because, you know, I loved him from The Boys, I was worried all I'd be able to hear was Sweet Campbell, but he did a phenomenal job at both Clark Kent and Superman and making them distinct from one another. Alice Lee was an extremely energetic and determined Lois Lane, and Ismail Saeed brought a lot of fun and goofy energy to the mix as Jimmy Olsen. Plus, the guy who voiced Perry White was great as well, just completely dismissing the gang any chance he got. Again, the supporting cast being Lois and Jimmy were not just reacting to whatever Superman did, but had their own little motivations and little arcs. Everybody has to have something to do. That way we aren't just being wasteful with characters and, you know, their time actually means something. I also loved how they portrayed Jor-El, very Man of Steel-like, which was one of the best aspects of that movie. How badass they made all the Kryptonian stuff. Now again, I have no idea why Slade is in the show, and it is weird that he is one of the first antagonists along with Livewire, but I'm assuming they want to do things different, maybe incorporate Lex, Brainiac, and Zod later into the series as to not be repetitive with the movies. All in all, this is a really good start for this show, and that is why I am giving it a solid 8 to 10, all around good stuff. We got that warm Superman, but we also kind of are seeing things being set up for him to actually go through trials and tribulations and not just be, you know, rainbows and sunshine all the time, okay? I don't think it has to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be as light as, you know, the Richard Donner Superman movies. It doesn't have to be as dark as Man of Steel. It can be both. It doesn't have to be either or, and that's what I really love. And I think Legacy will do that very well. Lots of potential for this show. I believe you can watch this show on Thursdays at midnight on Adult Swim and stream it on their website if you don't have Max, not that one, or maybe try the peak performance route, but I will probably not go over every episode but do like a mid and season finale review video because I'll probably want to talk about other things coming up, just like I'm doing with Secret Invasion, except I like the show way more. All in all, I can't wait for more. Let me know what y'all thought of the episode though, whether you liked it or not. Any predictions for the coming episodes, things you want to see, let me know. That's it. If you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope all you guys are well, and I'll see you in the next one.